Hello everyone, welcome to my advanced level design final. I'm doing this in the Shadowrun editor, and yeah, so let's get started. So the first area that I wanted to get out the way is the player home, considering this is where the Shadowrunner starts, and is basically where they go through and do, well, I should say where they pick up their missions, at least my Shadowrunner. So I wanted to go through and make this house feel a bit other than lived in, but I guess somewhat fancy, but also not fancy. Considering that the Shadowrunner's been doing so many jobs like this so much, I wanted to bring in like paintings and little showcases over here. I also wanted to go through and just kind of like show off that, regardless of how run down, these little areas may look, they still have some wealth, or at least this character has some wealth to her. She just chooses not to leave or get out of such places because, well, why do something when you can just save up the money? But that's what I wanted to go through when I made this area. Excuse the lighting in here. Lighting is difficult in Shadowrun. I still have yet to get used to it. But this is all I wanted to basically go through and do. Just kind of give this area a nice lived-in feeling, fancy. You can definitely tell she has money. She just chooses not to leave the area she lives in. Added in with like a little bit of junk here, and in like little areas, not too much. Torn down walls, put a little bit of posters, and then just the little computer room here with the painting, just all for the Shadowrunner. So the next area I want to get to is the downtown Chicago. So this area took me a bit to do as environments, or I'm new to environments when it comes to stuff like Shadowrun. So what I wanted to do with the city was I wanted to make it look somewhat run down, but also still a place where people are living. So as you see over here, you have like little holes in the ground and junk all over the place. You have little homeless tents, especially like over here. Homeless tents are just kind of around where they like live at, another hole in the ground here. And I just wanted to make this place feel lived in despite its disheveled look. This right here is supposed to be the complex where the Shadowrunner lives in, and I just wanted to put a little bit of buildings around, kind of my own little test to see what I could do with the different building tiles that they have, and all these different I guess decor and other things that Shadowrun gives you, like, little graffiti, trash, little bit of vendors, and just kind of like the smaller stuff, and see what I could do on here just to kind of make this place feel a bit, not as empty. As you see, all the little green actors as well. These are actors, so I place them in, and I kind of mess with the settings to see if I can get them to, be a bit different from each other. You have some homeless people living in here. You have a few prostitutes here and there. You have a few thugs over here. And it's just to give a nice variety of what's within this world, and generally how this world is. As for the lighting, as I said, I'm having trouble with that, but what I wanted to do is kind of just give off this, the different district area vibes. you know, you come over to the Seamstress Union, and you know, it's a little coloring here would give it this lighting that you'd put like right in, you know, right around here. You'd see that glow. And then same thing when it comes to like these little stands, they have a glow. Something up here would have a glow like this. I just wanted to throw that all in. Felt it would bring everything to life. And the last place that I wanted to get, that I wanted to show, the last place that I wanted to show off before we get into the gameplay. This is the warehouse. This is one of the many levels that I plan to, you know, have in for the story that I want to build for this. For the sake of the class, I decided to cut it down to just these 3 areas, and the warehouse is where all the combat and everything happens. And so in the warehouse, I wanted it to, I guess in a sense, feel as if it's being worked in still. And despite people, despite what's happening in the story with a person running away from, you know, someone that's chasing them, I wanted them to come to an area that they could basically call a base of operations for themselves. So I went through and started just kind of placing crates and, you know, different little things all around to kind of fill the negative spaces. And I also went through, and because this is a combat based area too, I wanted to go through and put enough cover in here for when the player comes in and they have to start fighting. In each of these little areas, like little office spaces, you get in here and you have, you know, a table and a few other things and a little laptop here. People working on stuff, especially when you get into like the middle parts here. Definitely wanted to fill the space. You know, equipment, crates, tanks, a bunch of things. You know, coming into this room, wanted, since, you know, it's a doorway, wanted to fit more item-based stuff in here, like the smaller packages and smaller crate sets and little, what were these, the bundled pipes and everything. And of course, I wanted to give this off to be another work area too, that somebody uses a laptop in here to keep track of things. And as you get into the main back room, where you have more of the hangout area, well, not really a hangout area, but you have more of the bigger people working in here, especially the boss, I should say. You know, you have little chairs here, and just kind of a little place to show that they did kind of claim this place as home, but it's not as roomy as, you know, they would want it to be, but they make do. So, you know, go through and do that by just putting a bunch of clutter here and there, just a lot of this, and figure that, you know, some of these are a bit smaller in terms of the carts and everything, so we're able to get those through the door. And then just for this little last area, like another little storage room, these are ammunition crates. So when they go through and put the ammunition crates in here along with a little conveyor belt, it kind of just brings off this whole, maybe they're manufacturing this ammo or doing more, you know. And again with the lighting, I'm just trying to light this place up so it has a bit more life to it. But, you know, I'm still getting used to the lighting, so I do apologize for when we get into the actual gameplay. But other than that, this is what I wanted to go through and get with these areas. And what we're going to do is we're going to start from the very beginning, which is the player home. So what I did was went through, and you start off with your loaded main character. I should say, it normally takes 2 tries to load this up, so. But it starts off with your loaded main character, or at least for me, put a little bit of description on the screen and everything. But from here, you go ahead and you load in your character. You can import. I import my character from the first save because it's just a lot easier. But this is where you start. So I'll give you a little like run through. So as you spawn in, you get an objective. It tells you to go to your laptop, and it also gives you the idea, the same thing that on the main menu screen with home. You've awakened yet again to another dry and boring night. Recently, things have been quiet within the business, leading to lower paying jobs you really didn't want to get into. However, from your room you hear an email notification ring from your computer. You wonder, could this be a job? Only one way to find out. So when you spawn in, it'll give you the little notification as it did up here. So essentially what will happen is the player will come over here. There's a little waypoint to show them and a little thing right here to show them where to go. And then as you run in, the little region is here. Objective complete. Now you're at your laptop. And here's where you can go and start up the mission. So you get a message from an unknown user, and then you can go through and read the message. And this is where everything starts. It's just the main idea is a sister, or someone is basically going through and putting out a hit on a person named Clarissa Clark, who you will find out that is this person's sister with a few of the things that you read. So after you go through and you do that, you get an objective that tells you to go and assassinate this person. You know that their location is within the warehouse, so I give you a little thing to go, and you head over to this door. And from there, you start off and you go into a scene transition where it'll change the location, and it'll bring you to downtown Chicago. In downtown Chicago, you'll load in. There isn't really too much to do out here other than just kind of like explore and take in, you know, what I've put around here. You get 2 new objectives as they come in. You have one to go to the ticket booth, and again, you still have to go through and assassinate Miss Clark. So I'll just kind of go through and do a little run around to this area real quick. So some of the people spawn in like really late, and that's just due to it's just I think it's just the game's field of view. There's not really much I can do with it. But here's a little like section over here. You got a little bit of homeless people. You kind of head over here. You know, you have some. I wanted to break up the lamps a bit too on here. So like you have some lamps that work and then others that don't. You just kind of like head through the back here. You can see, you know, definitely you have some. You know, you have some more people just kind of back here. There's really nothing too much that I wanted to, or not really nothing too much, but it's just a little bit of stuff I wanted to add. Just kind of like break everything up a bit. So I have a little trigger right here, so that way when you run up to this, you know that you're at the ticket booth. And then you come over here, and you start another conversation. So you request a ticket. The character kind of gets into a conversation with somebody that's later on in the story will become important. But you go through and you do this, and once you click this button and you take the bus, it ends up switching to the next scene, which goes straight to the warehouse. And over here in the warehouse is where things start to get hectic. So once you spawn in, it'll immediately take you to this over here. The reason, because you want to make sure that everything is set. You know, you're coming in here to go into a fight, so I wanted to make sure that you know, let's say you have an imported character and you have a bunch of items and stuff you want to bring over. You have stuff to do. I know when I release the actual thing of this, the player will be able to create a character through this story. So the game will autosave, and then we'll be jumping into combat here in a moment. So as you spawn in, you get about 3 different things. You get 2 primaries and 1 secondary. So you assassinate. You get to assassinate Clarissa Clark, kill all their henchmen, and you have the option to retrieve vital intel. So now that we have the combat all ready and set, let's go. So as you pass through, this is what the player sees, or at least is about to go through, and music starts up. So this is where I will start to do what I need to do and start killing these guys one by one. So I'm going to start this off by going through and hitting people up with some armor. Just because I can. So everybody's a little bit protected here. And then what I'm going to do is start throwing over some supports. So anybody within this is getting some really fun stuff. Somebody create a shadow zone here. Oh no, he missed. Well, that's fine. And over here we have our brute. So I'm gonna have our brute run in, and he is going to go through and hit this guy. He takes about 16 damage. Then we have some more enemies running in. So our dude over here is not really too much in trouble. So I want to take this guy out though. So considering this is a Lone Star Guard, I'm thinking what I might do. Uh-oh. What is going on here? Wow. I have no clue what they're doing, but I guess they're just... I guess I'll just put you in Overwatch. So we have our little summoner here. I think I might go through and start up a little lightning barrier. And I'll have our guy come over here. That's actually not what I wanted to do. I forgot that there was a guy still alive. So it's perfect though, because now dead. Boom. Now, I think, unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about this guy right now. So I think what I'm going to have everybody do is just move away from him at the moment. Yep, there we go. Now we can actually attack. So I'm just going to punch this dude to death and move up. So, first objective, the first thing I want to do is I want to get these guys to cover. As you can see, I put the cover in very specific places just because I know where the player might be getting attacked from, especially because of, everything that I've done and, making this map. So I'm going to put her in Overwatch right here. And because no one's doing anything, don't want to take that risk. So I'm just going to throw that in here. Alert them. Put her on Overwatch, end the turn. Boom. Apparently one of the enemies was just alerted. So with them, I'm going to keep them there right now. And I'm going to move over here. And this is where the first data log is. It's, again, optional. So, retrieve the data. I can go through and end her turn right there, and then bring her back up, so that way we can start moving up some more. So I'm going to keep these guys in the back, but him, I'm going to move up here. As you can see, we have about 2 guys right there. We don't really seem to find anyone right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this one up a bit, and we're going to haste them. It's probably really risky of me to do. It is, because they noticed. So I have my character move up here. Just kind of go through and take them out. So I'm going to oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Wait, what? How does that have a higher percentage? It's funny. Alright. We're going to move him over here. So again, this is about to get risky, but this is what they're meant for. Gonna increase that accuracy. We're gonna move you up here. And we're gonna let the enemies take their turn. They're not really doing too much damage here. Ooh. Alright. So we're going to have my character move up. And good. So we're going to end the turn here. We're going to move over. Get into this room. So we're going to get in here, and I'm going to put her on Overwatch. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because when we move over here, I'm going to have the other characters move in. Especially this Hawking Brute. Because once they notice him, they're not going to be happy. I see. You'll go back into Overwatch. And you will move over here. So it's a little bit of a long playthrough, but this is a normal Shadowrun like fight. At least from what I've played, this is a pretty normal Shadowrun fight. So we are going to slow that one over there. Alright, so we are going to heal him. Our last amount of damage he took. Oh man, it was 5. Ooh. Throw that defense up. I'm pretty sure this dude has like a held action or something. We'll see. Ooh. Alright, let's... Couldn't hit him. How do you miss your shot? Oh, this man is running away. Alright. So he's down. We're going to run over here and get to Cyber Terminal number 2. In which from here, retrieve the file, reset the turns, and just start heading out. I think what I might do is heal this one real quick. Have everybody just move up 3 and just rush through, as we are about to near the end here in a moment. Alright, so we're going to throw everybody into this room as far as they can go, I guess, to cover. So this one will go through and take cover around here. Enemy has yet to notice us, which is good. So we're going to head over I'm actually not going to fire just yet because I want to see if there's something I can do. There is nothing I can do. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Well, I guess we're doing this a lot earlier than I thought. Ah, shit. Oh, no. One of our dudes is down. Alright. This is where it starts to get just a little worrying. Oh no. Oh no. We are getting our ass whooped right now. Oh man, when you only have like oh, that's so good. Okay. So you actually missed that? Time for you to take some half cover. Shit. Alright, man. Time for you to get up. Alright, so that one dies. Misses. We'll put you around here. That sucks. Come on now. Dear God. Alright, 2 people down so far. 3 of my teammates down. You know what this means? Uh-oh. Shit. And now it's just me. Here's this. Slog file 3. All log files retrieved. According to this, there's still one more enemy alive. I wonder where that enemy is. Yes, he is right back here. Dude was taking cover behind this. So what we do over here is, now that we've killed the Lone Star, or I should say the henchman, we now get an item. It's Clarissa's memo. So you go over to mission items. Say if you're reading this, then you've likely killed the henchman I left in here for you. Understand that I did this so you'd listen. You and everyone else are in danger. My sister is planning to raid your organization and this city if she has to. I know she sent you to kill me, which was her first step in ensuring her victory. Good thing I have eyes and ears all over. I'll tell you more once we meet up. Come by the local nightclub. I'll be waiting. And with that, we've completed the first mission. So a little thing that I added here is that pretty much after this entire fight, you can choose to leave again, which here would take you to the player home. Here would take you back to the player home, and that would be that. Obviously, it would redo the whole go to your laptop thing, because I don't have it set to it just being a one-time thing only. That would come later, but that's pretty much all there is to this. So, yeah, thank you for watching. I hope that this was informative and good. Otherwise, yeah, see you later.